This story was tagged to me on Twitter, and we are headed back again to Florida. And I know some of y'all get upset when I pick on Florida, but listen, Florida got a lot of bad elements going on down there. I think I only did one feel good story that came out of Florida maybe this year, maybe two, but it has been more bad than good. And this one isn't a good look for this individual right here, considering the circumstances. So in this picture, you see this guy. His name is Evenaud Julmeus. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly or not. But anyway, he's 30 years of age and he is currently in custody right now because he left his son on the side of the road. Now, that right there is already bad enough. But the reasoning behind it is got him in even more hot water. The reason why he left his son on the side of the road is because he says that his son might be a part of the G class. Yes, he says he might be a part of the Alphabet Academy. Now, notice he said, and these were his words, that he might be. He didn't say that he was. Now, I have my issues with the Alphabet Academy, as y'all have seen plenty of videos and commentaries coming from me about them and the stuff that they've done. But sir, you don't just leave your child on the side of the road because of what he might be. Did you even have a discussion with him to see if that was the case? Now, mind you, this guy's 30 years old, so his son couldn't be that old. They said his son is a preteen, so he's probably 11, 12 years of age, where he's at that age where he can have that discussion. And I don't know if the son said something to him that ticked him off, but he just left him stranded on the side of the road. What if someone just came along and just snatched him up? He would never see his son again. But then again, with this mindset, with the fact that he did that, lets me know that he probably wouldn't have cared. Now I'm going to go ahead and read this article coming from the New York Post. A Florida man left his juvenile son on the side of the road because he thinks his son might be a part of the Alphabet Academy. Evenaud Julmeus, age 30, of Haines City, Florida, dropped the boy off in front of a closed police department. According to an affidavit which stated that the child had a small duffel bag with several articles of clothing in it but did not have any food, water, or money. The boy also did not have a phone with him. Julmeus told his son, whose age was redacted in the affidavit, to pack a duffel bag after he allegedly found male pornography videos in his cell phone, according to what the affidavit said the victim told police. Court records said Julmeus became very upset after he found the videos. Haines City police told Fox News that the boy is a preteen. A bystander who witnessed the event called police. An officer dispatched to the location said the victim was very upset and crying. The victim told police that his father told him to pack a bag and that he was taking him to the police department where they would find him a new home. Julmeus made his son get out of the vehicle while sitting in a turn lane on a Florida highway and then drove off, according to court records, which added that his father did not try to contact law enforcement to tell them he had dropped off his son. After learning about what had happened, the boy's mother went to go look for him at the police station, leaving her other two young children with Julmeus. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. As if what you're already hearing now is just kind of wild and out there. Wait till you hear this next part. Julmeus had fled this home before police arrived, leaving the two children alone. So the mother left the two kids with him. I don't know if that was the best thing to do, but maybe she had no one else to leave the kids with. But they say when the police had came to the home, he fled the home and left the two kids that the mother left with him there by themselves. This guy just continues to dig a hole even deeper for himself. Julmeus left his juvenile son at a closed police department with no one around, failing or omitting to provide the victim with care, supervision, and services necessary to maintain physical or mental health, while also failing to make a reasonable effort to protect the victim from abuse, neglect, or exploitation of others. Just like I said, of the fear of possibly being kidnapped by someone. He also allegedly neglected his two other children by leaving them alone at their home with no adult supervision or care. So that's 3 neglect counts he has on him, amongst the host of other charges from the boy he left at the closed police station. Julmeus has been charged with 3 counts of negligent child abuse without bodily harm and turned himself in, police said, adding that he is still in custody. Listen, I cannot make any of this up whatsoever. If he feels that his son is a part of the Alphabet Academy based on what he found on his phone, all he had to do was just sit down and just have a conversation with him and ask him that question, is he? And then go from there. But this guy packed a bag, told him to get in the car, we're going for a ride, dropped his son off at an abandoned closed police station, probably in the middle of nowhere, and drove off, left him stranded with just some clothes, a duffel bag, no food, no water, no phone. Then he he finally gets in contact with authorities. Then the mother gets involved. She has because see, the thing is, the reason why she left the father with the other 2 kids is because she didn't know what had happened leading up to that. She didn't know that the father of her children had left the oldest son just stranded somewhere. And then when the police arrive to the house, he flees and he leaves the other 2 children by themselves. At least this story isn't as bad as one that I did hear about that I didn't get a chance to speak on, but I'll talk about it now because it kind of has some relatedness to this. It's kind of related. And it didn't happen in the same state, but it did happen in one of those southern states where you had this dad who was a black dad who found out his son was a part of the Alphabet Academy and he killed him. And it was a fairly recent story too. I think it happened, I want to say at the beginning of November. I think that's when I saw the article. I saw it in passing. And now when they hear stories like this, they're going to try to throw that whole label, because they love to say that black people are the most homophobic people, but they really want to say black men. This story and the one I just told you about is going to add on to that heavily. If it really, if it really gets out there. And this was posted by the New York Post. I already seen how many retweets it got on Twitter. People know about it now. But yeah, this was actually pretty goofy for this guy to actually do that. I've heard stories of people disowning their kids and everything like that, or kicking them out of the house. And usually the kid or something, or whoever, they might have someone to go stay with. But this guy just dropped the kid off just in wherever and just drove off. That was not the smartest thing to do, because now he runs the risk of losing custody of this son and of the other 2 kids. They could definitely say that he's an unfit parent and leave major parental rights up to the mother. Now, I don't know what the mother situation is, or if, I'm not sitting here to say that she's a bad parent or anything like that, but based on what he's been doing right here, I can pretty much say that he's written the narrative for himself that he's not fit to take care of any kids. I mean, dropping one off in the middle of nowhere because of what he thinks he might be, and possibly could be, but it is what it is. And then neglecting the other 2 to leave and flee the scene. Well, not flee the scene, but flee the home when they hot on his ass. Imagine if he went to jail and they asked him, what is he in for? Oh, because I neglected, for child neglect. And they asked him for more details. And he said, oh, because I found something in my son's phone that was inappropriate and I just dropped him off in front of an abandoned police station. And they ask him, what was it? And you tell him. And they were like, oh, because he was so-and-so. He better hope that whoever he's telling that to in that prison doesn't lean that way either. And I'm going to leave it at that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. And I'll talk to you in the next one.